Sol Braverman, the UK Home Secretary, said, "Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, Sol Braverman, the UK Home Secretary, was doing a bunch of fear mongering that Palestinian protesters would attack the cenotaph, the war memorial, on Armistice Day, and to counter protest the Palestinian or pro-Palestinian protesters, a bunch of far right and Nazi types went over there and ended up fighting with police. So like, dude, what?" Watch out for your violent protests by the cenotaph, you know? Watch out for those pro-Palestinian protesters. And then all the people going, right, right, we agree, welcome, go over there and end up being the problem themselves. Picture perfect. Clashes broke out in central London on Saturday as right-wing protesters attempted to reach the Cenotaph War Memorial. Protesters could be heard chanting, quote, "You're not English anymore," at the police as they pushed back against metal barriers in Whitehall. This has always been my funniest, it's the funniest part of far-right people protesting, which is that far-right people nonstop jerk off police as long as the police are policing brown people, but then as soon as the police show up to police them for being rowdy at a protest, they're like, the West has fallen. Oi! Oi! The West has fallen. You're not even English anymore, bloke. Yeah, fed. Like, they completely break it, you know? Exact same shit with, like, January 6th, where the MAGA crowd spent 4 years sucking off cops no matter what they did, and then the cops show up to, you know, not let them murder all of the elected officials in the Capitol building, and since then it's been like, I used to like cops, but then the West fell, and now I don't anymore. However, Braverman has ignored what really happened and continued to demonize pro-Palestine march. Well, yeah, of course, obviously. Scylla Braverman doesn't give a shit about Nazis. Our brave police officers deserve the thanks of every decent citizen for their professionalism in the face of violence and aggressions from protesters and counter-protesters in London today. And then goes on to talk about how, like, the pro-Palestinian people are anti-Semites. Literally, like, Nazis and far-right people were battling in the streets with cops. And she's like, we should all support our police officers against those dirty pro-Palestinian protesters who were causing a ruckus in the streets the other day. She's preparing for a leadership run. Yeah. She's married to a Zionist, by the way. She is a Zionist. Don't they consider Nazis to be on the pro-Palestinian side, though? Um, well, not really. It's kind of like a deliberate inconsistency. People on the right in America and in the UK are generally fine with working with Nazis. They know that Nazis support them, like, on almost every issue. They play cover for Nazis knowingly. They know there are Nazis in their cabinet and in governance, and if not Nazis, at least very far right people. They're fine with that. They know that Nazis typically don't like Jews, but they also don't care about Jews. Like, Sola Braverman doesn't give a shit about Jews. Otherwise, why would she be playing cover for far right people after this protest? Like, that doesn't make any sense. These people hate Jews. Like, not, well, I circled the cops here, but the cops also probably hate Jews. Um, it's one of those, like, wedge issues, you know? Like, who is it more convenient for me to demonstrate hatred towards? Braverman might care about Jews. Her husband is Jewish. Don't be naive. Did you see Marine Le Pen hold a march against anti-Semitism to rile up French Muslims? Yeah, that's another. Like Marine Le Pen, absolutely okay with Nazism. Le Pen, complete, like. Do you guys remember, like, the coalition of French far righters who support Le Pen and were, like, pushing for her most aggressively throughout the, like, you think Le Pen gives a shit about anti-Semitism? No. But in France, the big political game is, you know, who do we hate more, the Jews or the Muslims? And who is it more politically effective to go after? And right now, it's much more politically effective to go after Muslims than it is to go after Jews. So Le Pen will play, like, to both sides of that. I mean, Macron is apparently asking for a ceasefire. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Macron calls on Israel to stop killing Gaza's women and babies. I really do hate the obsession with framing the victimhood of the Palestinian people purely in the terms of like women and babies. If you're going to do the thing with children, that's fine because children are children. But, like, it's not like guys are more immune to being airstriked than women. saying a ceasefire would benefit Israel. We do urge them to stop this bombing in Gaza, but he stressed France clearly condemns the terrorist actions of Hamas. But we do condemn Hamas. Guys, don't be fooled by us saying you shouldn't indiscriminately murder children, okay? We also condemn Hamas. You know how far Israel has to go for Macron, you know, of Muslim hating France to say that they need to do a ceasefire? They're incredibly racist. He's only saying this after weeks because the death toll got over 10K. Yeah, well, Biden still hasn't said it. Like, you would think France would be behind the curve on this, but instead, France is one of the first Western countries to do this, whereas Biden is still going like, nope, no conditions, nope, full support no matter what, full support no matter what. After this, the Home Secretary went on to condemn the pro-Palestinian protesters who did not fight with the police and did not charge the cenotaph. Vosh, the Biden man, has said Israel is not doing enough to protect civilians and also convinced the IDF to pause it for 4 hours every day. He's not just doing nothing. Oh, yes, the 4-hour lunch break in between genocidal airstrikes. Also, saying Israel isn't doing enough to protect civilians? Who the f do you think we are? We're not Switzerland. We're not Norway. We're the United States. You know, the stability of the planet lives or dies on our dollar. Like the idea, oh, you know, he's not doing nothing. He's completely publicly supporting Israel's behavior, and like providing military aid, not calling for a ceasefire. His press secretary did that bit where she compared pro or anti-Israeli protesters to Nazis, to the Nazis at Charlottesville. Like, the idea that the Biden administration is doing everything they can is tantamount to genocide, not genocide, like abetting, enabling. Like, it's insane. Like, I wish everyone could at least operate in the same playing field here. You know, I can deal with the lefties on the one hand with the anti-electoral stuff, and I get the people on the right. I don't understand the liberals who are unironically arguing like, yeah, there is a genocide, but Biden's doing all he can. I don't know where that intersection is. Sorry, I'm kind of taking your head off here a little bit, but like, Benjamin, if you mention it again, you're catching a ban. Are you surprised 99% of politicians in America are Zionists? I mean, they're not authentically Zionists. They operate politically as Zionists. Also, I've talked about this. There are reasons why they are.